What's going on, YouTube? My name is Johnny Screams, and today, unfortunately, we have some very, very unsettling news to be speaking about. 8 people died during Travis Scott's performance last night in Houston, Texas. There are several videos that have come out explaining and showing how this tragedy happened, and it is not pretty. And just hearing from the people that were at this concert and what they went through last night, it is tough to read. And so we are going to go through it a little bit here today while trying to be as respectful as possible for everybody who lost their life last night and the many people who were injured. Let's go ahead and start off with the barrier incident at the very beginning. So this is where I thought people might have died, because this video came out on social media today where the people broke in, and we'll put it up on screen right now. People had broke in to the festival by knocking down a barrier and then flooding through in masses. And so there was this giant wave of people all pushing past security and trampling over each other. And so when I saw this video, I was like, oh yeah, this is probably where people lost their lives because they were getting trampled on. But I guess this wasn't exactly the incident that led to all these deaths last night, but this definitely would have contributed to that, because what this does is it allows a flood of people to be on the festival grounds and put the festival above capacity. So let's say they sold 30,000 people, 30,000 tickets for the festival. Therefore, they allocated room in the festival grounds for 30,000 people, and then 10,000 more people all flood through the VIP gate that they crashed. And so you flood the grounds with 10,000 more people that they can handle. And so it was a very tight squeeze, and there was too many people at the festival, and it led to a very unfortunate situation when Travis Scott later performed at the festival. And now there are multiple eyewitness accounts on what happened later that evening when Travis Scott hit the stage for his headlining performance. And as the story goes, and I actually have a written documentation from a girl who was actually there, and it is truly heartbreaking to read her firsthand account of what happened during this squeeze where people were losing their lives during Travis Scott's performance. So I'm going to go through that right now, and it is tough to read. So this girl was on the floor for Travis Scott's headlining performance, and she's basically saying that when Travis Scott hit the stage, there was a giant squeeze. All the people who are at the back of the festival obviously are all there to see Travis Scott, so when he hit the stage, everybody is trying to get as close to the front of the stage as possible. And what that leads to when you have an extra 10,000 people who are not supposed to be there, who broke in through a VIP barrier, is it can be horrendous. You try to squeeze so many people into a tight festival grounds, and it leads to what we saw last night: mass mass injuries and death. So this girl says energy rose as the time neared beginning the show. Within the first 30 seconds of the first song, people began to drown. Women and men were the only thing they could see. The rush of people came tighter and tighter. Breathing became something only a few were capable of. The rest were crushed or unable to breathe in the thick, hot air. My friend began to gasp for breath, and she told me we needed to get out. We tried, but there was no way to go. The shoving got harder and harder. If someone's arms had been up, it was no longer a possibility to put your arm down. So people began to choke one another as the mass swayed. It became more and more violent. We began to scream for help. We could see security just a few people over in the walkway. It got tighter, impossible to breathe, as our lungs were compressed between the bodies of those surrounding us. More people began to scream for help. The music continued. Hundreds of people ripped their vocal cords apart, screaming for help, and I saw videos of the crowd chanting for Travis to stop the show, but I guess word didn't reach to him the severity of the situation. I don't know. I'm not going to pass judgment on him yet. But there was nowhere to go. My friend was trapped between people on every side of her, and she desperately tried to move towards the rail. It was no use. The screaming intensified as more people realized they could not breathe. We begged security to help us, for the performer to see us and know something was wrong. None of that came. We continued to drown. More and more, one person fell or collapsed. It doesn't matter how it started. Once one fell, a hole opened up in the ground. It was like watching a Jenga tower topple. Person after person were sucked down. So these people were collapsing because they couldn't breathe. So there was a massive squeeze, and it gets tighter and tighter. So you've got people all around you who are pushed into you, and you're trying to breathe. So your chest is trying to compress, so it's trying to inflate with air and then exhale and release that air. And when you're in a tight situation like that, it gets very tough. And so these people were quite literally drowning within a sea of people. If that's not a terrifying way to go out, I don't know what is. I've been in situations like this where I've been in a concert where the main band hit the stage. I went to a Metallica concert years ago with like 70,000 people, and man, when they hit the stage and that rush of people just want to be as close to the band as possible, people 500 feet back from you are not seeing the devastation that it's causing by pushing the whole entire crowd towards the front. You know, there's a lot of people online who are ripping on human beings in general for not having empathy for each other, and for turning into complete animals at concerts. But it's like, man, it's more complicated than that. Like, when there is this massive push coming from the back, the people at the very back, they don't understand what they're doing to the people who are at the front, being squeezed to death, quite literally, by the massive push that's coming from behind them. They're too far back. They don't understand it, man. And it can be really, really scary for the people who are at the front. And in this case, it can result in loss of life. There was apparently a 10-year-old boy who died last night at this show. And there were 7 more who lost their lives, and countless more who were injured. Because once you go down, once you fall to the ground, the people around you cannot get you back up. It's like this girl was saying. People who had their arms in the air couldn't even get them back down because there were just people all around them. So if you fall in this situation, it can literally be the last thing you ever do, because you are trapped below this wave. You are on the ground, and there are just all these people stepping on you who can't even see you down there. They're just trying their best to plant their feet and keep upright. Because literally going underwater, going under the sea of people, can be the end of your life. It's super sad. So this girl basically goes on to say that she somehow managed to get out. She managed to get out, and then goes to security and pleads to them and tells them, guys, people are dying out there. We need to stop the show. And nobody would listen to her. And there's apparently actually a video, which I may pop up right here, that shows a girl going up to the cameraman and telling him, you guys need to stop this show. People are dying out there. And nobody apparently could grasp the gravity of the situation, including Travis Scott. There's a couple of videos out there of Travis Scott acknowledging that people were passing out and needed medical attention, but they continued on with the show. It is a huge, huge fuck up on their part. But putting myself in Travis Scott's shoes, I don't know if he understood the severity of the situation. I feel like anybody in that situation who recognized that people were dying would have for sure stopped the show. So I'm not in a position really to sit here based on my limited information and call Travis Scott a piece of shit. They probably could have taken better security implementation at this festival, this Astroworld festival. Clearly, if people are dying, something went wrong, and whether it's the people breaking down the barrier, or a lack of security, or a lack of emergency services on site, I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened here. Obviously, there's going to be a massive investigation into this, because this is a tragedy and people lost their lives, and it's just absolutely awful. And I guess just in closing, you've gotta be aware of these things when you're going to big concerts, especially for you people who do go crazy. I understand it when the main band hits the stage, everybody wants to go crazy and get as close as possible. But we've all got to be aware that situations like this can arise, and so we've got to be looking out for one another in situations like this. Don't be pushing the entire crowd forward just so you can get 3 feet closer to Travis Scott, because it's not worth somebody losing their life over, man. This is an absolute tragedy. My heart goes out to all the families. Rest in peace to everybody who lost their lives. It's a terrifying and devastating way to go out. And they went out in a place where we all go to enjoy ourselves and to have fun and to let loose. I mean, everybody loves going to concerts. Concerts are my favorite thing in the world. The experience of live music is one that we all cherish and we all enjoy so much. So to see something like this happen, to have such a tragedy unfold, is really such a shame. So my heart goes out to everybody impacted by this. I hope Travis Scott can learn from this and do better. And everybody should be able to learn from this and do better, because these situations can arise. This is not the first time that there's been a mass crush event, they're called, in a stadium. I've seen it at soccer games and sports leagues around the world, and there have been other concerts like I think it was Woodstock '99 or something with Limp Bizkit, where people were crushed to death at that show because there was just way too many people all in a tight space at once. Like, it just gets tough, man. So we need to learn from this. That's for sure. Anyway, guys, this was a tough one to talk about. This was tough news to wake up to this morning. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. I love making videos and talking about random things like this. So please help support me. I'm a new channel. Other than that, take care of each other out there. If somebody ever goes down the mosh pit, pick them up and be kind to each other at festivals. Thank you guys so much for watching this. My name's Johnny Screams. I'm out of here.